Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Secretary, thank you for being here. A high priority in my state is Corridor H. We've been trying to build it for 56 years. We have about 90% completed or either funded to be completed. We have that small percentage to be done yet, and we have funding in that for the infrastructure bill. The thing that we need help with is this. The language of the one federal decision language requires each project to have an agency that takes the lead on it. Sorry, okay, and that would be under, it's finishing a highway, so it would be Department of Transportation. We're hearing that those rules haven't been set yet or haven't been drafted, and it's supposed to be a 2-year deadline. A couple years might go by, and the money be spent before we even get to where you all can take the lead and help us. If you would look into that, we're just worried we're going to miss the opportunity to finish this highway.
We'll make sure to look into that. Our intention has been to meet every step on the timeline, and we know how important that is for your state.
Well, I think the one federal decision, you know, the way it's written, and we did that to expedite.
Right.
There was a reason, and there's going to be a lot of people fighting back. We've had everything. Like 56 years, you can tell they've thrown everything at us to slow it up. This is going to be great. It hooks I-81 into I-79, which is a tremendous going through the most beautiful part of our state, but it opens it up, which has never had transportation there. So I would really appreciate your help on that. And if you give us a lead person in your agency, we'd be happy to work with them on that. Let's go back to something that Senator Murray had talked about, supply chains. China is responsible for 80% of the world battery material processing, 60% of the world's cathode production, 80% of the world's anode production, and 75% of the world's lithium-ion battery cell production. They've actually cornered the market. And I've got to be very honest with you. What I see going on with Putin weaponizing energy, using it as a weapon in Europe right now, I'm afraid that China could do the same thing, and we're not up and ready to run. And I know that we have to decarbonize the transportation sector. It's one of the ones that we have the most concerned about right now that we can do something. And I've been very big on hydrogen, but we have not put the money or put the research to hydrogen the way we have on EVs. And it seems that we're still going down that path. And there's a waiting list for EVs right now with a fuel price of $4. But they still want us to throw $5,000 or $7,000 or $12,000 credit to buy an electric vehicle. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. When supply and demand, and we can't produce enough product for the people that want it, and we're still going to pay them to take it, it's absolutely ludicrous in my mind. But I'm thinking we're getting ourselves tangled in a situation that we're not going to be able to supply the continued electrodes and anodes and cathodes and everything that's going to be needed for this product. So do you all have the same concern?
Yes, we're following this closely, and I think it's a great example of one of the areas of manufacturing and capacity that we've got to do more of right here on American soil. You know, if you look at the timelines that the physicists have laid out on climate, some of them can, in terms of our action and our need to rise to the challenge, could arguably be measured in months rather than years at this point. And so we feel a sense of enormous urgency to accelerate not just the uptake of electric vehicles, but as you note, their production and our productive capacity for them. One important thing that you mentioned was the processing capacity for these raw materials. So it's not only the stores of, let's say, cobalt or nickel, lithium, or some of those raw materials that are at issue, but their refinement. And sometimes it's actually the refinement piece that is most concentrated in a place like China. So we've been in close contact with the Department of Energy, just got a briefing on it this week actually, about what it would take for more of that to come onshore. Because we want to, as we say with just about everything in infrastructure, make sure that more of it's made in America, produced right here in America. And while we're also interested in the potential around hydrogen, we feel a sense of enormous opportunity, enormous urgency to deploy the technologies that exist and are on the market today and make sure that we get the absolute most out of that too.
I just came back from Alaska, then I was up on energy there, and I was over in Calgary and Saskatchewan, Alberta. And I truly believe that if with what we see happening in the world being changed a little bit as geopolitical unrest we have, to form a North American Energy Alliance. They have tremendous deposits of rare earth minerals, especially in Saskatchewan, in that province. And they're willing to partner up with us, and it's something we should be looking into. They have the ability to do a lot of refining up there also that we might not be in with our environmental concerns that we have in our state. We're going to have to get the environmental community on board as a team effort to make this happen. If I could throw one more thing at you, just my own little plug for Harmony Grove. A good friend of mine, Congressman McKinley from West Virginia, has been really leading the charge on this, and it's really something that's desperately needed. It's the interchange on Interstate 79 Morgantown. It's called the Harmony Grove Interchange. If your agency could look into that, all we're asking for is if it's doable, look into see if it can be fast tracked, that we can make something happen, or either be told we have to reroute something or do something differently. That would help us tremendously. I thank you for your involvement in this, and we're at tough times right now. We just need to get on the ball and get something done. And finishing a 56-year highway would be great.
Well, we're in touch with your office on that. I know the sense of importance that's there, and I'll make sure to follow up and get a sense of the status.